Everyone, today I want to speak about a reality we all face sooner or later: dealing with toxic people. You see, toxic people come in many forms: manipulators, constant complainers, critics, gaslighters. But no matter how they show up, they have one thing in common. They drain the life out of your day, your confidence, and sometimes even your sanity. Now here's the difference. Smart people don't let that happen. Smart people respond to toxicity with wisdom, not emotion. They treat toxic people in a way that protects their own mental, emotional, and even physical well-being. First, smart people maintain emotional distance. They understand that not every comment deserves a reaction. They don't let others' negativity define their mood or self-worth. Emotional boundaries are not a wall, but a filter. They allow love and respect in and keep toxicity out. Second, they don't try to fix toxic people. They recognize that change is only possible when someone wants it. Smart people don't wear themselves out trying to rescue people who are comfortable in their own chaos. Third, they set and enforce boundaries, and they mean it. Whether it's saying no to manipulation, walking away from drama, or refusing to be guilt-tripped, they stand their ground. A boundary without consequences is just a suggestion. Smart people don't suggest, they assert. Fourth, smart people don't engage in drama. They don't argue with someone who's not listening. They don't explain themselves over and over to someone who's already made up their mind. They choose calm over chaos, and silence over senseless debates. Fifth, they protect their peace, not their ego. Sometimes the best response is no response at all. Smart people understand that winning an argument with a toxic person still means losing time, energy, and peace. And peace is priceless. And finally, when needed, smart people walk away. Not out of fear, not out of weakness, but out of clarity. They know when the cost of staying becomes higher than the benefit of trying. Let's be clear, walking away isn't giving up. It's choosing yourself. And in a world that often encourages us to fix, to fight, to forgive beyond our breaking point, choosing yourself is a brave, smart choice. So next time you face someone toxic, ask yourself, what would a smart person do? Smart people understand that toxic individuals thrive on emotional reactions. Whether it's anger, frustration, guilt, or confusion, any reaction that gives them control or attention fuels their behavior. So instead of reacting impulsively, smart people learn to observe without absorbing. They become aware of what's happening without letting it invade their internal state. Maintaining emotional distance doesn't mean being cold or indifferent. It means being self-aware. It means recognizing when someone's words are a projection of their own pain or insecurities, not a reflection of your truth. Smart people don't take things personally, especially when it comes from someone who spreads negativity like it's oxygen. They know it's not their job to carry someone else's emotional baggage. Emotional distance also involves intentional detachment. When smart people interact with toxic individuals, they set a clear inner line. I can be around you, but I won't let you affect how I feel. They may continue to be polite, even helpful, but they never sacrifice their peace for the sake of being agreeable or keeping the peace. Ironically, trying to keep the peace with toxic people often costs your own. Another part of emotional distance is the ability to remain calm in the face of provocation. Toxic people often bait others with criticism, sarcasm, or guilt-tripping. But smart people don't take the bait. They respond with silence, with a calm tone, or sometimes with a simple change of subject. They choose their responses like a chess player, not to win, but to protect their position and preserve their clarity. They also limit emotional exposure. That means they avoid sharing vulnerable or personal details with toxic individuals who might later use that information as weapons. Smart people are cautious about how much access they give. Not everyone deserves a front row seat in your life, especially not those who try to tear down the stage you built. In short, emotional distance is a boundary you draw not just with your words, but with your mindset. Smart people keep their power by staying in control of how they feel, no matter how someone else behaves. They know that how you protect your peace says more about your strength than how loudly you defend it. One of the biggest mistakes people make, especially those with kind hearts, is believing that toxic people can be fixed if we just love them hard enough, help them long enough, or explain things clearly enough. But smart people know this truth. You can't heal someone who isn't willing to admit they're wounded. Smart people don't fall into the trap of being emotional repair workers. They've learned, sometimes through painful experience, that toxic people often don't want help. They want control. They want someone to absorb their chaos while they avoid taking responsibility. They want sympathy without change. So smart people step back, not out of cruelty, but out of clarity. It's natural to want to help someone who seems hurt or lost. But there's a fine line between compassion and self-sacrifice. Smart people understand the difference. They've learned that being empathetic doesn't mean being a doormat. That being supported doesn't mean enabling. They know that if someone is constantly blaming others, manipulating conversations, or playing the victim, it's not your job to rewrite their story. Here's what else smart people recognize. You are not someone's rehab center. You're not here to carry their emotional weight while they refuse to lift a finger. Toxic people will often make you feel guilty for not doing more, for not being understanding enough, or for walking away. But smart people don't let guilt become a leash. They understand that healthy relationships are mutual. They involve give and take, not take and take and take. Smart people also stop offering solutions where there's no accountability. They stop pouring effort into one-sided relationships. They know that constantly rescuing someone creates a cycle. One where the toxic person never faces the consequences of their behavior because someone else is always cleaning up the mess. And maybe most importantly, smart people remind themselves, change is a choice, not a project. No matter how much potential you see in someone, it means nothing if they aren't willing to do the work themselves. You can inspire change, yes, but you can't force it, beg for it, or bleed for it. So rather than wasting time trying to fix what someone refuses to acknowledge, smart people redirect that energy back to themselves, to their own growth, peace, and purpose. They trade the role of savior for the role of protector of their boundaries, their well-being, and their emotional freedom. Smart people know that without boundaries, there is no balance. Without clear lines, toxic people will walk all over your time, your patience, and your sense of self. That's why setting boundaries isn't just an act of self-care. It's an act of self-respect. Boundaries are not walls to shut people out. They are doors with locks that you control. They tell others how you expect to be treated. And more importantly, they show you how serious you are about protecting your peace. Smart people don't wait until they're burned out, disrespected, or emotionally drained to set those boundaries. They do it early, clearly, and confidently. They know what they will tolerate and what they won't. They don't say yes just to avoid conflict or appear nice. They understand that every yes to a toxic demand is a no to their own well-being. So they say a no with firmness and without guilt. Because they're not rejecting the person, they're rejecting the behavior. Smart people also understand that setting boundaries is only half the work. The other half, but the harder part, is enforcing them. Toxic people will often test your limits. They'll push, guilt trip, or pretend they didn't hear you the first time. That's why smart people stay consistent. When they say, "I won't continue this conversation if you raise your voice," they follow through. When they say, "I'm unavailable after 9 p.m., they don't make exceptions for the sake of avoiding drama. They don't just draw lines, they defend them. Not with aggression, but with certainty. They don't over-explain, apologize, or negotiate their values. They make it clear, this is what I need to stay healthy and grounded. If you can't respect that, you're choosing distance. Boundaries also extend beyond words. They're built into choices. Limiting time with a toxic coworker. Ignoring the late-night text from the drama-filled friend. Refusing to engage in circular arguments that go nowhere. Smart people know that not all battles deserve their energy, and not all access should be given freely. And here's the powerful part. Boundaries often reveal who people truly are. Healthy people will respect your limits, even if they don't always like them. Toxic people, on the other hand, will resist, retaliate, or try to manipulate you into bending. That reaction? It's not your cue to change the boundary. It's your confirmation that the boundary was necessary in the first place. Ultimately, smart people don't wait for toxic people to change. They change the terms of engagement. They take control of what they allow, what they respond to, and what they walk away from. Boundaries are how they stay whole in a world that often asks them to shrink. Smart people understand that not every battle is worth fighting, especially when that battle is designed to exhaust, confuse, or provoke. That's why they avoid engaging in drama, not out of fear, but out of wisdom. Drama is the favorite playground of toxic people. It's where they twist words, shift blame, and turn minor issues into emotional chaos. But smart people don't play those games. They step off the field entirely. Drama thrives on reaction. It needs fuel to survive. Emotional outbursts, defensive arguments, accusations, endless back and forth. Toxic people will say things just to get a rise out of you, just to pull you into a space where logic doesn't matter and facts become fluid. But smart people don't take the bait. They understand that silence, calm, and emotional neutrality are far more powerful than any argument. You won't see a smart person wasting their breath trying to convince someone who's already committed to misunderstanding them. They won't chase validation from someone who twists their words or manipulates conversations. Instead, they master the art of disengagement. They know when to say, "This conversation is no longer productive," and walk away without looking back. This isn't avoidance, it's strategy. It's protecting their time, their energy, and their focus. Smart people have learned that arguing with a toxic person is like wrestling in the mud. You both get dirty, but the other person enjoys it. They choose peace over pettiness. They choose clarity over chaos. And when toxic people create drama in groups, spreading rumors, triangulating others, stirring conflict, smart people don't jump in to defend themselves at every turn. They know that reputation is built over time, and anyone who knows their character doesn't need a counter-narrative. Smart people let the truth speak quietly, while drama screams loudly and fades quickly. They also avoid feeding drama by refusing to gossip, retaliate, or entertain manipulative emotional traps like guilt, shame, or passive-aggressive remarks. When someone tries to bait them with, "Oh, I guess you don't care then," or "Fine, do whatever you want," a smart person doesn't respond with defensiveness. They respond with stillness, or no response at all. Their refusal to engage doesn't mean they're weak. It means they're strong enough to let toxic people spin their own webs without getting caught inside. They know that silence isn't surrender. It's self-control. It's dignity. It's the refusal to let someone else write your emotional script. And most of all, smart people value peace so deeply that they'll do what drama-filled people fear the most. Remain calm, centered, and unmoved. Smart people make a conscious choice. They protect their peace, not their ego. And while the world often encourages us to win arguments, prove our point, and defend our pride, smart people understand that ego-driven battles almost always end in emotional bankruptcy. Peace, on the other hand, is priceless. It doesn't just feel good. It frees you. Toxic people love to challenge your ego. They provoke you with insults, subtle jabs, or condescending tones. They want you to react, to defend yourself, to get loud, to get angry, to prove them wrong. Why? Because once you engage from a place of ego, they've already won. You're in the ring and they control the pace of the fight. But smart people don't fall for that. They don't defend every accusation, correct every lie, or respond to every insult. Not because they're weak, but because they value their energy more than they value being right. Ego wants the last word. Peace doesn't need one. Smart people understand this deeply. They know that walking away from a pointless argument doesn't mean you've lost. It means you've outgrown the need to convince someone who isn't listening. They've learned to measure success not by how many points they prove, but by how often they can preserve their inner calm when someone else is trying to steal it. And peace isn't passive. It's a deliberate act of strength. It takes emotional maturity to stay grounded when someone's trying to unnerve you. It takes restraint to say, I see what you're doing, and I choose not to participate. That choice, again and again, is what separates people who are merely smart from people who are wise. Letting go of ego doesn't mean letting others walk all over you. It means refusing to let others drag you into their emotional mess. It's saying, I don't need to win this argument. I need to stay true to myself. And that shift in mindset is powerful. It transforms your responses, your mood, and your entire day. You see, toxic people often feed off emotional chaos. They want to shake your sense of self, to make you doubt your worth, to pull you into petty battles where ego thrives and peace dies. But when you don't take that bait, when you choose peace over pride, you leave them powerless. They can't escalate what you don't energize. Smart people also understand the long game. They realize that ego might win in the moment, but peace wins in life. Protecting your peace means choosing your battles, knowing when to speak and when to stay silent. And above all, knowing that not everything deserves your response. So instead of trying to defend every boundary, explain every decision, or fix every misperception, smart people simply protect what matters most. Their calm, their clarity, and their ability to walk through life unshaken by noise. Smart people know when to stay and try, and they know when to leave and live. They understand that while patience is a virtue, self-abandonment is not. When dealing with toxic people, there comes a point where protecting your peace, your dignity, and your sanity means doing the one thing toxic people fear the most. Walking away. Walking away doesn't mean giving up. It means you finally accepted that your time, your energy, and your emotional well-being are too valuable to waste on someone who refuses to grow, change, or take responsibility. Smart people don't keep trying to light up a room for someone who keeps flipping the switch off. When someone consistently disrespects boundaries, manipulates, gaslights, or drains them emotionally, they don't make excuses, they make decisions. Because here's what they understand deeply. You can't build a healthy relationship on toxic ground. No amount of loyalty, effort, or understanding will change someone who is committed to dysfunction. Smart people don't confuse history with worth. Just because someone's been in your life a long time doesn't mean they deserve to stay in it. Longevity doesn't equal loyalty. And love is not a reason to tolerate emotional harm. Smart people are courageous enough to walk away, even when it's hard, even when they care, even when they're afraid of being misunderstood. They walk away not because they don't feel, but because they finally choose to feel free. Free from guilt, free from chaos, and free from the burden of carrying a relationship that was always one-sided. And walking away isn't always dramatic. Sometimes it's quiet, it's unfollowing, it's unanswered messages, it's canceling plans you never wanted in the first place. It's slowly stepping back until the noise fades and the peace returns. Other times, it's a firm, clear statement. This is not healthy for me anymore, and I'm choosing to move on. Either way, the result is the same, a reclaiming of self. Smart people also understand that letting go is not a loss. It's an investment in what's ahead. When you walk away from toxicity, you make room for better relationships, better energy, better conversations. You're no longer stuck trying to prove your worth to someone who is never willing to see it. You're free to be seen, heard, and loved in the way you actually deserve. And make no mistake, walking away requires strength. It's easy to stay, easy to tolerate, easy to keep repeating the same cycle, hoping this time it will change. But smart people have learned that sometimes the bravest thing you can do is stop hoping and start healing. And healing often begins the moment you take your last step away from what was breaking you. They don't do it with anger, do it with anger. Or they don't walk away to punish. They walk away to protect their mental clarity, emotional health, and the life they're building. Because sometimes the most powerful statement you can make is not with words or confrontation, but with distance. Know it with distance. So, how do smart people treat toxic people? They do it with calm minds and clear hearts. They don't get entangled in chaos. They don't lose themselves trying to fix what refuses to heal. They set boundaries, not out of bitterness, but out of self-respect. They protect their peace like it's sacred, because it is. And when the time comes, they walk away, not because they're weak, but because they're wise enough to know that peace is more valuable than any relationship that threatens it. Smart people don't try to win toxic games. They simply stop playing. They don't scream to be heard. They stand still and let silence speak. They don't stay to prove their worth. They leave to protect their growth. Because at the end of the day, being smart isn't just about what you know, it's about what you no longer allow. And that, right there, is how smart people deal with toxic people. Thank you.